Hey everyone, it's Chris. I'm coming to you from the Range 702, and today we're going to talk to you about what is happening in 2021 right now and what's going on with CCWs or CWPs in Las Vegas in 2021. So first of all, what is a CCW or a CWP? Well, you're going to have to Google it, because if I tell you and use those words in this video, YouTube is going to ding me. Before I get into what's happening right now in 2021 with CCWs, I want to go over a little bit of what the regular process before COVID, the shutdowns, all these crazy things happened, and kind of what you would be able to expect prior to all of this when getting your CCW in Las Vegas. So the regular process for getting a CCW here in Las Vegas is actually pretty easy. This is a state that is very 2A friendly, and the process just wasn't that hard. You would first book a CCW class at a range, like my range for instance, and then you would come, do the class, you'd have to qualify, take a test, and then once you have that paperwork, you take that paperwork, bring it to Metro. Metro will then take all that that paperwork, also fingerprint you, and then they'll run a background check on you. And then anywhere from 2 weeks to 120 days, you would get your CCW card and certificate in the mail. And then you just need to carry this with you while you carry concealed. So pretty easy process. Now, that background check that you would get from Metro kind of lasted anywhere from like 2 weeks to the maximum, which is 120 days. Now, Nevada is a shall issue state. It is not a may issue state. The difference between that is that if you pass the background check and you pass the written test and you pass the qualification, that means by law, we shall issue you a CCW. It's not a may issue. So California is a may issue, which means California can just decide whether or not they want to issue this license. Here in Nevada, we must issue you. We shall issue you if you pass that. And the law also states that the state has up to 120 days. So that's the maximum amount of time. Prior to all of this, it usually didn't take 120 days. Now let's start talking about what happened in 2020, at the beginning of 2020, when all of this COVID craziness started. Well, the first thing that happened was that groups were denied from meeting together at all. So unless you were getting your CCW from somebody one-on-one, you were unable to really book a class anywhere. What a lot of places did is they just stopped booking CCW classes altogether. So it was just very hard to get one at all. Then as we started reopening, we were allowed to have groups of 10 or more. So here at my range, for instance, right away, we opened up groups of 10, and what we saw was that these got sold out immediately. So we actually converted some of our other space into classrooms, and we were running multiple classes at the same time. So we would have like 3 or 4 rooms with groups of 10 in them running together. For instance, a classroom like this, which is our usual CCW classroom and usually holds 24 people, we only had 10 people in this classroom. We also then converted our VIP room and some other space that we have in here as well to be classrooms. So we were running 30 people 2 times a week here, but all in separate rooms so that we could abide by these distancing standards. Now, as you all know, there were a ton of firearm sales in 2020, but not only just firearm sales in 2020, a lot of these were first-time owners. So what do you do when you buy a gun for the first time? You're going to want to get your CCW. So what we saw was a huge influx of people getting their CCW here. Just to give you an example of some numbers, what we saw previous to 2020, we ran 2 classes a week, and each class had 22 to 24 people in it. So we're talking just under 50 people a week. Now when we opened classes back up, right away we filled up those classes. So we started doing more classes, more per day, and then also more per week. So there was a few months where we were running over 100 people every single week getting their CCW for the first time. So now there's 2, 3, maybe even 4 times as many people trying to get their CCW as usual. I don't know where you live or what was happening where you live, but here in Las Vegas, pretty much every single government entity just, oh my God, there's not a nice way to say this. Is YouTube gonna ding me for this? Like, ugh. It was horrid. It was awful. Like the DMV, you couldn't get an appointment anywhere. So what happened was Metro, the same thing happened. And we had people just lining up outside of Metro, trying to get their CCW, and that they weren't getting to them every day. So there was people that they would just turn away at the end of the day. So here these people went, purchased a firearm, took the CCW class, passed the test, passed the qualification, and Metro just wasn't able to help them. So at this point, Metro cannot handle everybody that's coming to them for CCWs. All of a sudden, somewhere around March of 2021, Metro announced they're no longer taking walk-ups for CCWs, and everything has to be booked online by appointment only. So here in our classroom, we kind of put everything up that Metro requires for everybody so that they can, as they leave, figure out what their next step is going to be. All of a sudden, we had to tell everyone, you can't just take your papers and go to Metro anymore. Now you need to log online and get an appointment with them. So here we are running so many more classes than what we usually run, and all of a sudden we start hearing from everybody taking our classes, I can't get an appointment with Metro, I can't get an appointment with Metro, I'm logging on just like how you told me to. The next available appointment's in 2 months. Then we start hearing 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. All of a sudden we start hearing there's no appointments available for Metro at all for the rest of the year. And guys, we started hearing this in May of 2021, that all of the appointments to get your CCW and get fingerprinted at Metro are completely booked. There's nothing left for the rest of the year in 2021. So this is where we're at in 2021 now. As of right now, in Las Vegas, there are no appointments left for Metro. We are still holding classes here, so we're still being able to give people their qualification, having them pass the test, and giving them all the means necessary to take their paperwork to Metro to get their CCW. However, Metro's booked, and we've kind of been poking around and trying to figure out what's exactly going on. Here's what we know. We know that all the appointments for the rest of the year are currently booked, and they've not opened up any dates for 2022 at this time. Now, obviously, this could change. I'm giving you the information that I have right now. Of course, I'll update everyone if we have any new information. We also know that there used to be 15 windows at Metro that were all servicing CCW paperwork, and now there's only one. So why is there only one window at Metro servicing CCWs? Is this going to get fixed? These are things we don't know. I will absolutely keep everybody updated, so just stay tuned for any information. Also, I'm super curious if you did get your CCW or in the process of getting your CCW in Las Vegas in the last year. I'm really interested to know what your experience was. So please comment below what your experience was and what you've been seeing there. We're still trying to collect information so that we can just give our customers the best knowledge that we have so we can help them out. I also am interested, if you're not in Las Vegas, how has this looked? Like, where are you from? How does it look for you? What has changed? What is your community doing? What's happening? We obviously are just confused and baffled at this and kind of want to figure out what the next steps are going to be here. So I'm curious to see what's happening where you are. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you today. It's not happy, it's not cute, but it is what it is. Please stay tuned for any updates that we get. Also, please comment below any information that you have, whether it's here or whether it's somewhere else. It's a very interesting time, and I'm super curious to see what happens. See you guys next time.